Disrespect. It's one of the fastest ways to expose a person's character and yours. How you respond when someone crosses the line says more about your strength than any motivational speech ever could. Most people lose themselves in that moment. They react emotionally, say things they don't mean, and hand their power to the very person trying to provoke them. But a Stoic sees it differently. Disrespect isn't an attack. It's a mirror. It shows you exactly what you still haven't mastered within yourself. Because life will test you through people. The arrogant boss, the jealous friend, the stranger who needs to feel superior for 5 seconds just to forget how small they feel inside. You can't control who disrespects you, but you can control what happens next. So in this video, we're going to go deep into the things you should never do when someone disrespects you. These are the reactions that make you lose power, peace, and self-respect, and how to replace them with composure, clarity, and control. Before we get into it, I need to say this. Most people don't actually want to grow. They want comfort, not truth. That's why I built the inner circle on Patreon, for the ones who are done pretending everything's fine, for those who actually want to face their demons and fix what's broken. Inside, I share what I can't post here, and I give one-on-one guidance to people serious about mastering their emotions and mindset. If that's you, the link's in the first pinned comment. Join us. You'll never think the same again. 1. Never react emotionally. When someone disrespects you, it's not logic that reacts first. It's emotion, that burning pulse in your chest, that tightening jaw, that voice inside your head whispering. You can't just let them get away with that. That's not your strength speaking. That's your ego. And ego loves chaos. It wants you to react. It wants you to prove yourself. It wants you to fight for validation you should never be begging for in the first place. But the truth is, the moment you react emotionally, you hand away your power. You give the other person exactly what they were looking for. A reaction. They wanted to see you flinch, to lose control, to break your own peace. And here's the thing, that's how weak people win. They don't outthink you. They out-trigger you. They press your buttons until you explode, and then they call you the problem. That's how you lose respect, without even realizing it. A Stoic man doesn't give people that satisfaction. He feels everything. The anger, the insult, the sting of disrespect. But he refuses to let emotion take the wheel. He watches the fire burn, but he never steps into it. That's not weakness. That's strength in its purest form. Control. Let me give you a real example. A friend of mine once worked under a manager who constantly belittled him. Every meeting, the man would interrupt, talk over him, even laugh at his ideas. One day, in front of the whole team, that manager said, "You talk like you know everything, but your results don't show it." Everyone went silent, waiting for my friend to snap back. But he didn't. He took a slow breath, looked him in the eye, and said calmly, "Then I'll let my work do the talking." And he went back to his notes. No raised voice, no argument, just composure. Months later, his work ended up outperforming the entire department. And that same manager had to present his data to upper management. He didn't just win the argument, he won the respect of everyone watching. That's what emotional control does. It silences your enemies without you having to lift a finger. Now most people don't understand this kind of strength. We live in a world that mistakes loudness for confidence. Everyone wants to be heard, to be seen, to be right. But the truth is, the man who controls himself doesn't need to prove himself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That means your reaction is your responsibility. You can't control what someone says to you, but you can control whether their words enter your peace. The next time someone disrespects you, don't rush to defend yourself. Pause, let the silence stretch. Look at them with calm eyes, and let their words hang in the air. Because when you don't react, the disrespect starts to echo back on them. That's why calmness is so intimidating. It makes people confront their own weakness. They expect chaos. You give them silence. They expect an argument. You give them composure. They wanted to control you, and now they're the ones losing control. That's the power of Stoicism. Not pretending to be emotionless, but mastering your emotions so deeply that no insult can disturb your peace. Emotional control doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're wise enough to pick your battles, and this one isn't worth fighting. It means you don't let temporary emotions destroy permanent self-respect. Because here's the truth: when you react out of emotion, you become predictable, and predictable people are easy to manipulate. But when you respond with calm, measured silence, people stop testing you. They realize your peace is not for sale. So next time someone disrespects you, don't give them what they're looking for. Don't let them feel powerful by controlling your emotions. Smile if you must. Say nothing if you can. Because the moment you master your reaction, you've already won the battle. A man who can't control his emotions is a slave to the world around him. But a man who remains calm while being disrespected, he's untouchable, because he knows the one who cannot be provoked, cannot be defeated. 2. Don't try to win the argument. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct is to defend yourself, to prove them wrong, to set the record straight, to win. But that's the trap. The moment you try to win an argument with someone who's already chosen to misunderstand you, you've already lost your peace, because disrespect isn't always about truth. It's about ego. They didn't come to understand you. They came to provoke you. And the more emotional, defensive, or loud you become, the more they win, because now they've controlled your energy. A Stoic doesn't argue to prove a point. He embodies it. He understands that silence, stillness, and restraint speak louder than any perfectly crafted comeback. Look at Marcus Aurelius. The man ruled an empire, faced betrayal from within his own circle, and yet he never wasted his breath arguing with critics or enemies. His philosophy was simple: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, let your actions destroy their assumptions. But in today's world, we mistake loudness for strength. Someone says something disrespectful online, and suddenly it's a war in the comments. A coworker undermines you in a meeting, and you can't sleep that night thinking about what you should have said. A friend takes a shot at your pride, and you spend hours replaying the moment in your head, writing imaginary speeches you'll never deliver. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery, letting someone else dictate your inner weather. The truth is, arguments rarely change minds. They only reveal egos. When someone disrespects you, they've already decided you're not worth listening to, so no amount of logic or clever phrasing will shift that. What does shift things, though, is how calmly you refuse to engage. That silence burns deeper than any insult ever could. Think of Keanu Reeves, mocked, dismissed, yet never publicly defensive. People throw shade, and he simply moves on, focused on his path. That's not weakness. That's someone who values his time and peace too much to waste it convincing fools. Or consider Muhammad Ali. As much as he talked, his real victory was never in words. It was when he proved every critic wrong in the ring. He let his fists, not his mouth, end the argument. That's what you must remember. If you argue with someone beneath your level of self-awareness, you lower yourself to their chaos. They want your reaction because your reaction gives them relevance. So when someone disrespects you, the wise move isn't to win, it's to withdraw, to smile slightly, say less, and let time do the talking. Because in the long run, nothing embarrasses the disrespectful more than realizing you didn't even consider them worth an argument. That's Stoic revenge, quiet, calm, and undeniable. 3. Don't try to teach them a lesson. One of the most dangerous impulses when someone disrespects you is the urge to teach them a lesson. It starts subtly. I'll show them they can't get away with this, or I'll prove to them they were wrong. At first glance, it seems reasonable, almost noble, but this is where most people fall into a trap so subtle, they don't even realize it until they've lost hours, energy, and peace. When you try to teach someone a lesson, you enter their battlefield. You start fighting on their terms. You respond emotionally, defensively, and reactively. And the moment you do, you've given them exactly what they wanted: your energy, your time, your focus. A Stoic understands this. Every act of disrespect is not a call for retaliation. It's a test. The test isn't, can I make them understand? The test is, can I maintain control over myself? Think about it. History is full of people who tried to teach lessons and lost far more than they gained. A manager who publicly humiliated a subordinate to teach them a lesson ended up creating fear, resentment, and ultimately a toxic team that collapsed. A friend who called out another in anger for a perceived slight ended up alienating everyone around them because the lesson wasn't received, but the damage was real. Even personal relationships suffer the same trap. How many arguments end with one person teaching a lesson only to regret the rift it caused later? The lesson you think you're teaching rarely lands. People only change when they choose to, not because someone forced them. The Stoics taught that wisdom is measured by control, not by retribution. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Trying to correct someone else's behavior is reacting to what they did. The stronger, wiser approach is to respond in a way that preserves your composure, dignity, and focus. Even in modern times, the lesson is clear. Take someone like Warren Buffett. When competitors insult or dismiss him, he doesn't fight back. He doesn't try to teach a lesson to those doubting him. He continues to do what he knows works, quietly, methodically, and without emotional drama. Over time, his results become the ultimate lesson. Or consider Mahatma Gandhi. The oppressors insulted, humiliated, and tried to break him. Yet he never tried to teach them a lesson in anger or retaliation. Instead, he responded with discipline, patience, and principle, actions far more powerful than any heated argument or public correction. The moment you try to teach someone a lesson, you fall into a dangerous cycle. You elevate their insult into a battle. You give them relevance you never owed them. You risk losing focus on your own life while obsessing over their behavior. A fool doesn't want to learn a lesson. A fool wants to provoke, to feel superior, to feed their ego. When you try to educate a fool in the heat of disrespect, you only validate their game. The real power isn't in proving them wrong. It's in rising above them. It's in walking away with dignity, leaving them to their own ignorance. It's in letting time, results, and your character teach the lesson silently. Because here's the Stoic truth. The strongest lesson you can teach someone is not through words or anger. It's through your own life. your composure, your discipline, your unshakable focus. These become the quiet, undeniable correction that no argument could ever deliver. When you resist the urge to teach a lesson, you preserve your energy, protect your peace, and maintain control. You become untouchable, not because they fear you, but because you refuse to engage in their chaos. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember, you don't need to teach a lesson. You need to show mastery over yourself. Your silence, patience, and integrity speak louder than any words ever could. That is the ultimate power. 4. Don't lower your standards. One of the most subtle traps when someone disrespects you is the temptation to lower your standards. It starts small. Maybe you let someone speak to you in a way you normally wouldn't. Maybe you excuse behavior you'd never accept from others. Maybe you compromise your boundaries just to avoid confrontation or to keep the peace. At first, it feels practical. You tell yourself, "I'll let it slide this once," but that small concession is the beginning of a dangerous chain reaction. Once you start lowering your standards, you signal to others and even to yourself that disrespect is acceptable. What was once a clear boundary becomes negotiable. Your energy is drained, your authority diminishes, and the people who disrespected you once, they see weakness, they see opportunity. They will push further, testing just how far they can go. The Stoics were obsessed with standards, not for others, but for themselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Standards define who you are, and lowering them is a quiet betrayal of your own character. Look at people who refuse to lower their standards in the face of disrespect. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, resisting compromise with an unjust system. He could have bent, taken shortcuts, or appeased his oppressors to gain an easier path. He didn't. He held to his standards and emerged as a leader whose integrity inspired the world. Steve Jobs famously demanded excellence, often clashing with colleagues and competitors. When others thought it was easier to cut corners or compromise quality, he refused. It frustrated people at the time, but it built products and a legacy that defined an era. Even in daily life, think of someone who consistently upholds personal boundaries. A friend repeatedly makes late-night calls or disrespects your time. If you let it slide once, it sets a precedent. Soon, late calls, last-minute favors, and disrespectful remarks become normal. Your standards aren't just your personal compass. They are a signal to the world of how you expect to be treated. Lowering your standards isn't just about others, it's about self-betrayal. Every time you compromise your values, you reinforce insecurity, doubt, and dependency on external validation. It's easy to justify it. "I'm being flexible," or "I'm letting it go." But in reality, flexibility without principle is weakness masquerading as virtue. Disrespect is a test. It's a moment where the world whispers, "Will you compromise? Will you bend?" And your answer is visible not in words but in actions. If you lower your standards, you've lost the silent war for respect. If you hold them, you've already won, because no one can diminish you without your consent. Even minor concessions matter. Saying yes to things that go against your boundaries, excusing rudeness, accepting laziness in others when you demand excellence in yourself. Every small compromise chips away at your power. Every surrendered standard teaches people how far they can push you. And before long, what started as a single act of disrespect becomes a pattern. So, when someone disrespects you, when they test your patience, your dignity, your limits, Remember, your standards are your armor. They define your character, your peace, and your strength. Do not lower them for convenience, for fear, or for temporary comfort. Stand firm, hold the line. The world will respect you not because you demand it, but because you refuse to give it anything less than your true worth. Your standards are your declaration. I will not be diminished. I will not compromise. I will not be tamed. That is power. That is Stoicism. 5. Don't overthink the situation. One of the most subtle ways people lose power after being disrespected isn't by reacting impulsively or arguing. It's by overthinking it. After someone disrespects you, your mind often starts spinning. Why did they say that? Was it something I did? How should I respond? Hours pass, or even days. You replay the moment over and over, analyzing every tone, every word, every gesture. You imagine all the ways you could have responded, all the things you should have said, and every possible outcome if you had acted differently. This is a trap. Overthinking doesn't create solutions. It creates chains. Chains of doubt, chains of anxiety, chains of unnecessary emotion. The Stoics understood this intimately. Epictetus wrote, "Don't demand that events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will go on well." Overthinking is the exact opposite. It is demanding the world bend to your desire for fairness, respect, or understanding. It is trying to control the uncontrollable. Think about it. You've been disrespected at work by a coworker. You replay their words in your mind for hours, analyzing every possible response. Meanwhile, your energy is drained, your focus is scattered, your work suffers, and the disrespecting person, they are already living their life, unaffected, or consider social media a modern battlefield of disrespect. Someone posts a subtle insult or passive-aggressive comment. You check it again and again, imagining witty comebacks, considering their intent, obsessing over how it reflects on you. Hours are lost, sleep is disrupted, and your mind is stuck in their chaos instead of your own life. Even great leaders fall into this trap when they aren't careful. Think of someone like Abraham Lincoln early in his political career. Critics mocked him, opponents belittled him, and public opinion fluctuated wildly. If he had overthought every insult, he would never have guided the nation through its greatest crisis. Instead, he observed, he reflected in moderation, and he acted with purpose. Overthinking is dangerous because it feeds your ego. It convinces you that the disrespect matters more than it actually does. Your mind starts imagining endless what-ifs, making the insult larger than reality, inflating the other person's influence over your emotions. The Stoics teach that your power lies in what you control, not in what someone else says or does. You can't control the disrespect, the insult, or the careless words, but you can control whether you ruminate over them. Overthinking gives them control over your inner world, which is the very thing Stoicism values most. So how do you stop overthinking? First, observe without judgment. Acknowledge that someone disrespected you, then label it for what it is, a reflection of their character, not yours. Second, focus on what matters, your response, your work, your life. Third, take deliberate action or release it. Either do something constructive about the situation or let it go entirely. Consider Nelson Mandela. During his 27 years in prison, he could have spent every day obsessing over the insults, betrayals, and injustices he faced. Instead, he focused on learning, self-improvement, and preparing for the day he would lead a nation. Overthinking would have imprisoned his mind, long before it ever confined his body. Even in everyday life, this principle works. A disrespectful co-worker, friend or stranger isn't worth your mental chains. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Don't hand it over to someone who's not even thinking about you after 5 minutes. Overthinking transforms a single moment of disrespect into a constant, lingering weight. It makes small slights feel monumental and minor insults feel catastrophic. It hijacks your peace, your focus, and your growth. The Stoic response: see it, acknowledge it, and move on. Your energy is limited. Your time is valuable. The person who disrespected you is living their life. You should be living yours, not replaying their words endlessly in your mind. When you stop overthinking, you reclaim control. You stop giving the disrespect a power they never earned. And you realize something profound. The only person you can truly offend, upset, or diminish is yourself by overthinking. So next time someone crosses the line, remember, observe, reflect briefly, and release. Your peace is too valuable to waste on the noise of other people's ignorance. 6. Don't doubt your worth. Disrespect has a way of sneaking in, planting seeds of doubt. A careless word, a cruel joke, a dismissive look, and suddenly your mind starts whispering, maybe I wasn't good enough. This is the danger most people overlook. It isn't the insult itself that hurts. It's the agreement your mind makes with it. You start believing that the disrespect says something true about you, and once that belief takes root, it slowly corrodes your confidence, your energy, and your sense of self. A Stoic understands this. Your worth is intrinsic, not contingent on what others think. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you but how you react that matters. If you accept someone else's judgment as the definition of your value, you've already surrendered your power. Think about historical figures who refused to doubt their worth, despite being disrespected repeatedly. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, faced constant humiliation, yet never internalized it. He understood that no external act could define his character, only he could. Albert Einstein was mocked early in his career as slow, difficult, and impractical. Instead of doubting himself, he focused on his work, eventually reshaping science itself. Even in modern life, this principle applies. You've been overlooked for a promotion, ignored in a meeting, or ridiculed by peers. The instant you start doubting your ability, intelligence, or worth, you're no longer responding. You're reacting to someone else's perception. And that reaction is exactly what makes their disrespect successful. Doubting your worth leads to passive self-sabotage. You hesitate, over-apologize, or accept less than you deserve. You stop speaking up, stop asserting boundaries, and stop taking actions that would advance your life. Meanwhile, the person who disrespected you walks away unbothered, leaving you trapped in a mental prison of their creation. A Stoic doesn't allow this. You acknowledge the disrespect, but you never internalize it. Your value isn't in someone else's words. It's in your integrity, your choices, and your actions. This is where true confidence comes from. Not validation, applause, or recognition, but knowing who you are and standing firm in it. Even sports offer lessons. Kobe Bryant faced relentless criticism throughout his career, from fans, media, and rivals. He never doubted his worth or talent. He used the disrespect as fuel to improve, to train harder, and to dominate on his own terms. Michael Jordan was famously cut from his high school varsity team, a moment that could have planted lifelong doubt. Instead, he let it remind him of his potential, not his deficiency. The moment you doubt your worth, you give others power over your mind. The moment you affirm your intrinsic value, you reclaim control, and their disrespect loses its sting. Practical steps: when insulted, pause and ask, does this reflect who I am or who they are? Remind yourself of your achievements, your principles, and the things you've endured. Reframe disrespect as noise, irrelevant to your value unless you choose to internalize it. Remember, your worth is not negotiated. It is not up for debate. It cannot be diminished by ignorance, cruelty, or arrogance. Every time you resist doubting yourself, you build emotional armor. You move through life with clarity, dignity, and the ability to respond with composure rather than reaction. The Stoics didn't live seeking approval. They lived by principles. Their self-worth was untouchable because it was internal, not external. So when someone disrespects you, remind yourself, they define nothing about you. You define everything about yourself. Stand firm in that knowledge. Protect your mind, protect your peace, because once you stop doubting your worth, no disrespect can ever control you. 7. Don't forget the lesson. Disrespect is never meaningless. Even the most casual insult, the briefest moment of humiliation, or the smallest act of condescension carries a lesson, if you have the eyes to see it. Yet most people ignore this truth. They react impulsively, stew in anger, or obsess over the person who disrespected them, and in doing so they miss the opportunity to learn and grow. They let the moment pass, leaving only pain and frustration behind. A Stoic sees every act of disrespect as a mirror. It shows not just who the other person is, but who you are under pressure. Every insult exposes your triggers, your insecurities, and the aspects of yourself that still need strengthening. Imagine someone publicly humiliates you at work. The first reaction might be outrage or embarrassment. The instinct is to lash out or retaliate, but the Stoic asks, why did this affect me? What part of myself am I giving over to this person's opinion? In that reflection lies the lesson. History gives countless examples of people who turned disrespect into growth. Abraham Lincoln faced endless ridicule, opposition, and insults throughout his political career. He could have allowed every slight to derail him. Instead, he reflected on each attack, learned from his mistakes, and emerged as one of the most respected leaders in history. His ability to extract a lesson from every disrespectful encounter defined his greatness. Serena Williams has been criticized, mocked, and disrespected both on and off the court. Instead of letting it destroy her confidence, she used each moment to identify weaknesses in her game, refine her strategy, and return stronger. The disrespect became fuel, a way to measure herself, not diminish herself. Even in everyday life, lessons abound. A friend betrays your trust, a painful moment. Instead of dwelling on anger or seeking revenge, a Stoic asks, what boundary did I neglect? What red flag did I ignore? How can I protect myself next time? The lesson is not about shaming the other person. It's about strengthening yourself. Disrespect is also a test of patience and perspective. Some people are cruel, arrogant, or short-sighted. You cannot change them, but you can change your response. You can learn to remain calm, to assert boundaries, and to preserve your integrity. Every time you act with wisdom, instead of emotion, you convert a moment of insult into a lasting lesson in mastery. The danger lies in forgetting. When you forget the lesson, you repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same traps, and allow the same people to disrespect you repeatedly. Each forgotten lesson compounds the cost, not in the moment of insult, but in the erosion of your peace, focus, and self-respect over time. A practical approach. After any disrespect, reflect. What is this teaching me about myself? Identify patterns in your reactions. Do you overreact? Do you let your ego dictate your behavior? Extract a principle that strengthens your character, then apply it moving forward. This is the essence of Stoic discipline. Disrespect is inevitable. How you grow from it is optional. Those who remember the lesson build armor for their mind. They transform every insult into insight, every humiliation into experience, every provocation into mastery. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Disrespect is the obstacle. The lesson you take from it is the path forward. Never forget the lesson, because each moment of disrespect carries the seeds of growth. If you're willing to cultivate them, fail to remember, and you remain trapped in a cycle of pain and reactive behavior. Learn it, and you rise stronger, calmer, and unshakable. The next time someone disrespects you, ask not, "Why me?" Ask, "What am I meant to learn from this?" The answer will shape your mind, your character, and your future far more than any insult ever could. 8. Don't talk about it on social media. In today's world, social media is the ultimate battlefield for respect and the easiest trap to fall into. The moment someone disrespects you, the instinct to post, comment, or rant online is almost automatic. You want the world to know what happened. You want validation. You want others to witness your pain or anger, to agree with you, to take your side. But this is a trap, a clever emotional trap that steals your peace while giving the other person power they never earned. Every post about disrespect is a public reaction, not a solution. It's reactive, not proactive. You are handing the narrative over to someone else, letting them dictate how your energy is spent. And worse, you make the situation permanent. Words online are forever. Comments meant to vent your frustration can be screenshotted, misinterpreted, and weaponized against you later. The Stoics understood this long before social media existed. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Posting about disrespect magnifies it. It takes a private insult and turns it into a public spectacle. Your ego is being stroked temporarily, but your mind is being drained for the long term. Consider modern examples. Celebrities like Kanye West or Chrissy Teigen have faced public backlash for posting rants in moments of anger. The immediate gratification of sharing their side doesn't erase the consequences. Lawsuits, public criticism, and long-term reputation damage follow. Even in everyday life, someone posts a passive-aggressive story about a coworker or friend. What begins as a moment of venting quickly spirals into gossip, misunderstanding, and conflict that could have been avoided with silence. Social media gives the illusion of power, a chance to set the record straight or to expose the disrespect. But real power lies in control, discretion, and composure. When you share your anger online, you are no longer the observer. You become the puppet, dancing to the strings of your own emotion. A Stoic doesn't need witnesses to validate their pain. They don't need likes, comments, or retweets to affirm their integrity. Their response is private, measured, and deliberate. It might be a conversation in person, a reflective journal entry, or simply letting time pass while they maintain their dignity. History gives us examples of restraint that are far more powerful than public venting. Abraham Lincoln rarely publicly expressed anger over insults. Instead, he wrote private notes, reflected, and acted strategically. His measured responses built respect and authority far more effectively than any public outburst ever could. Ralph Waldo Emerson taught that your actions will speak so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. In other words, quiet composure communicates far more than words posted in anger. Think about the underlying reason we post online after being disrespected. Ego. You want recognition for your suffering. You want the world to see who hurt you. You want validation that you're right. The problem, validation from strangers, is temporary and hollow. It doesn't heal, it doesn't strengthen, and it doesn't preserve your peace. It often amplifies anger, prolongs resentment, and can escalate conflicts that should have remained private. A Stoic asks, what is gained by broadcasting this? Does it restore my peace, my dignity, or my power? The answer is always no. True strength lies in restraint, in handling disrespect without spectacle. Silence, composure, and selective action are the weapons that the impulsive and reactive will never understand. So the next time someone disrespects you, resist the urge to post about it. Resist the temptation to comment, tweet, or broadcast. Your energy is too valuable to hand over to someone who doesn't even think about you 5 minutes later. Remember, the world is watching, and so are future versions of yourself. When you resist sharing in anger, you preserve your integrity, protect your reputation, and safeguard your mental space. Social media will never elevate you. Discipline, composure, and quiet mastery will. Don't let disrespect turn into digital chaos. Don't let your ego dictate your actions. Handle it privately, deliberately, and with your mind intact. Silence is stronger than posts. Dignity outlasts likes, and peace. It is the one victory that no social media feud can ever steal from you. 9. Don't seek revenge. One of the most destructive impulses when someone disrespects you is the desire for revenge. The moment someone crosses a line, your mind whispers, "I'll show them. I'll make them pay. I won't let this go." It feels righteous. It feels satisfying. It feels like power. But it's an illusion. Revenge rarely satisfies the way we imagine. It consumes your energy, distracts your focus, and slowly erodes your dignity. While you obsess over getting even, the person who disrespected you often moves on, completely unaffected. And the real casualty, your peace, your clarity, and your time. The very things Stoicism values above all else. Think about historical examples. Alexander the Great faced countless betrayals and insults, but he rarely pursued petty revenge. Instead, he focused on strategy, conquest, and his long-term goals. He understood that energy wasted on vindictive acts was energy stolen from greatness. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, faced betrayal, insults, and disrespect from generals, senators, and even family. He never sought revenge. He responded with reflection, patience, and action aligned with principle. By refusing to chase revenge, he preserved his mind, authority, and peace. In modern life, the consequences of revenge are no less severe. A person spreads rumors about you at work. You spend weeks planning a counterattack, plotting your next move, imagining the humiliation of the other person. Your sleep suffers, your focus suffers, your work suffers. Meanwhile, the person who disrespected you continues their life unaffected, unaware of your obsession. Revenge is seductive because it feeds the ego. It convinces you that your worth, power, and satisfaction are contingent on another person feeling pain or humiliation. But true power doesn't demand that. True power is internal, unshakable, and independent of others' actions. Consider Nelson Mandela. After decades in prison, he could have sought revenge against the oppressors who humiliated and imprisoned him. He chose restraint, forgiveness, and focus on rebuilding his country. That choice required unimaginable discipline and courage, far more than any act of revenge ever would. The outcome: respect, legacy, and enduring influence far beyond what revenge could ever have produced. Even in smaller personal contexts, the lesson holds. Someone insults you on social media, cheats you in business, or betrays you in friendship. Resisting revenge doesn't mean ignoring the problem. It doesn't mean weakness. It means choosing strategy over impulse, wisdom over emotion, and your future over a fleeting sense of satisfaction. The Stoics remind us that anger and revenge are chains we place on ourselves. When you allow yourself to dwell on payback, you let the disrespect control your mind. You become reactive, not proactive. You become the very prisoner you swore you would never be. Instead, redirect your energy toward improvement, growth, and action that actually benefits you. Accomplishments, mastery, and composure are the silent, undeniable revenge that no one can dispute. Steve Jobs didn't publicly attack competitors or critics in moments of anger. He focused on building superior products, letting results speak louder than words. That approach humiliated detractors far more effectively than any impulsive retaliation ever could. When you resist revenge, you reclaim control. You keep your peace intact. You rise above the chaos, refusing to be dragged into someone else's drama. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember, revenge is a trap. It feels empowering, but it enslaves your mind and steals your energy. The real victory lies in discipline, patience, and excellence. Respond with action, not emotion. Rise higher, focus on yourself. Because the Stoic way isn't about making others pay, it's about becoming untouchable. When you do that, you have already won. 10. Don't let it define you. One of the most dangerous traps, after being disrespected, is allowing it to reshape your identity. The moment someone insults you, belittles you, or crosses a line, your mind often whispers, "Maybe I am that bad. Perhaps I really did fail. This proves I'm weak, unworthy, or incapable." This is where the real harm begins, not in the words, actions, or behavior of the person who disrespected you, but in your agreement with their narrative. When you internalize their disrespect, you hand them the keys to your mind. You allow their ignorance, cruelty, or ego to define your self-worth. And once you let that happen, every insult becomes a seed for insecurity, self-doubt, and hesitation. The Stoics taught that you are not the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone does wrong, it is not because of you, but because of their own judgment." Your character, your integrity, your decisions, these define you, not the fleeting judgments or malice of those who seek to provoke you. Consider historical examples. Nelson Mandela endured decades of imprisonment and humiliation. He could have allowed the cruelty and disrespect of his captors to define him as bitter or broken. Instead, he chose his identity consciously, as a leader, a visionary, and a man of principle. By refusing to let injustice define him, he emerged stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. J.K. Rowling faced multiple rejections early in her career, including harsh criticism of her writing. She could have internalized these opinions as proof of her inability. Instead, she persisted, held to her vision, and became one of the most successful authors in history. She didn't let other people's dismissive judgments define her potential. Even in everyday life, this principle applies. A co-worker publicly criticizes your work. A friend betrays your trust. A stranger makes a rude comment. If you let these moments define you, you will constantly adjust your behavior to appease, prove, or avoid. You become reactive, insecure, and unable to act with clarity. The danger is subtle. Disrespect can start to shape your thoughts, your reactions, your choices. It can make you defensive in unrelated situations, overly cautious, or quick to apologize. Before long, your life is being guided not by your principles, but by the fear of other people's opinions. A Stoic responds differently. Observe the disrespect without internalizing it. Analyze objectively. What, if anything, is useful to learn? Let go of everything else, especially the urge to let it alter your self-perception. Think of Malala Yousafzai. She was publicly attacked, threatened, and shot for her advocacy. Yet she refused to let hatred, disrespect, or violence define her. She continued to speak, teach, and lead, shaping her identity around her principles rather than the cruelty of others. Modern life makes this challenge more difficult. Social media, gossip, and public criticism can feel omnipresent, but the Stoic approach is timeless. You define yourself, not others. Their words are noise. Their disrespect is irrelevant unless you let it touch your identity. Practical steps to prevent disrespect from defining you. Reframe the situation. This is their issue, not mine. Affirm your principles, values, and strengths daily. Reflect on past challenges you've overcome. Proof that temporary disrespect does not define long-term character. When you refuse to let disrespect define you, you reclaim control of your inner world. You refuse to be reactive. You refuse to allow someone else's ignorance, malice, or ego to shape your self-perception. In the end, this is the Stoic victory, not the humiliation of others, not the absence of disrespect, but the unshakable knowledge of who you are. Your identity is yours alone, untouchable, undiminished, and eternal. Do not allow disrespect to tell you otherwise. Disrespect is inevitable. People will insult you, belittle you, and test your limits. But how you respond, that is entirely your choice. The rules we've explored aren't just guidelines. They are armor for your mind, principles for your character, and tools for your peace. Each moment of disrespect is a test, a chance to strengthen yourself, refine your values, and assert control over your inner world. Remember, you cannot control what others do, but you can control how you let it affect you. You can rise above impulse, ego, and chaos. You can refuse to overthink, refuse to seek revenge, refuse to allow their words to define you. You can walk through the world with dignity, composure, and unshakable self-respect. The world will always throw insults, challenges, and disrespect in your path. The difference between the weak and the wise is simple. The weak let it control them. The wise, the Stoics, rise above it, transforming every provocation into strength, clarity, and mastery over themselves. Let this be your guide. Hold to these principles, protect your peace, and remember, power, respect, and freedom are always born within, never given by others.